Well, I don't know if anybody's there yet today. It's a nice day, but a little windy. I hope the wind doesn't affect the audio on this. So let me know if it's a problem. uh, but we all got problems, and that's what we got to solve. If you didn't have problems in life, what the hell would you do? It'd be boring as hell. And that's why what I want to talk about today is what do you do when your problem is you want to get a business grant and you can't find one, where everybody says, oh, you can't, we don't have them, or you're not eligible, and 15 reasons why there's not a business grant for you. Well, that probably is you're looking in the wrong places too, and a lot of this stuff is not called business grants too that give help. But what I want to show you is how I helped two members, Let's Go Help members yesterday. This is what I do most of my days is helping members of Let's Go Help. And two that wanted to start a business. One wanted to start a trucking business and was looking for that kind of money. And he had terrible credit, so nobody would give him even a loan or anything to do that. And another young lady who was a photographer, and everybody liked her photographs, so she wanted to do a book of photographs. People would say they'd buy them. Okay, so now they're starting out to go look for grants. Okay, and there's all the normal places. I mean, there's about 7 places in every state that are the places to start. And you contact them. And the main thing when you do that is don't say you're looking for a grant, say you're looking to help to start a business. Because then it's easier to help you if you say that. If you're saying you want a grant, uh, you may lose a lot of the good stuff that's there because you sound like somebody just wants to take the money and run, and they want to help humans. So this is the whole thing. You want to be human and find other humans to help you to do what you want to do. And the people I give you are really humans that get government grants to help you do that. So that's the important thing. But if you just say you want a grant and that's it, then you may lose the best part of them. But that being what it may, if you go through that process and you don't get a grant, then you have to start thinking of other ways to get the money to do what you want to do. There's always other ways to do it. In other words, sort of like the trucking guy. So this is what I told him. Okay, there's a couple ways to do this. Number one, because trucking, that's a great business, right? So it's really you find investors, that want to share in the money. So you're not going to make as much money, but you'll be starting the business. How do you find investors? The same people I give you to look for grants and money are also people that know about fat cats, so invest in things. And then there's platforms on the internet that have uh, that are investors that you can put your idea there to find investors. So there's a lot of ways to find investors. Now there's another thing you can do is find current trucking companies that have extra trucks, or find other people that have trucks sitting in their backyard that they don't need. So you make a deal with them. Hey, I'm going to go get business, and then when I get business, can I use your truck? And then you pay them for the use of the truck once you have business. See? And that's the way to do it. Or another way to do that is to find trucking companies and say, let me find business for you. Okay, you go out and find business, bring in the business to them, and then you do it on a higher rate, than them just hiring you as a driver. So you make more money that way. And see, those 2 ways or 3 ways are more important because you're learning how to get customers. And that's the thing. If you went out and got $25,000 and then you would get the money, now you'd have to look to get customers. And that's the hard part of any business is really getting the customers. And you're really not in business until you do get customers. So all you're doing is somebody's trying to raise money. You're not really in a business. So that's why if you get rid of that thing of thinking you need money to get to start a business, then what you really need is a customer. And then you make a deal with somebody else that has the equipment or whatever the heck you need to get the business. And then there's a fourth way that he could do it is just be in the brokerage business, like going out and find people who need to get their goods delivered and you find the best trucking company for them to deliver. what they have. And then you get a commission from the people you're bringing the business to. So that's another way to start a business in the trucking business without having a truck. And if you really want to drive, that's still another great way because what you'll spend your time doing is figuring out how to get business. See, no matter what happens when you get money to start your business, you have to find out how to get customers. So that's why I think it's always better to find out how to get customers first and then start a business. And it'll save you a lot of time looking looking for money that you may or may not get. So that's why it's really how fast to me in starting a business is how fast could you start doing something for customers in that market so you could learn that market with or without your ideal thing. So you want your ideal thing, this perfect, beautiful truck with a 15 bed condo in it or whatever the heck. you know, there's other ways to do that and other ways to find customers. And that is the key ingredient of your business, not having a truck. That's just money, but getting customers. If you could get customers, that's more important than getting money to buy a truck, at least in my mind, in most businesses I know. That's why the salesman usually makes more money than anybody else because they're making it rain. They're the rainmakers. So that's by going out. Now, the other sample was a photographer, and she wanted to, people were liking her photographs, and they said, hey, I would buy a book of your photographs. Okay, so she starts investigating, how to make a book and photographs and all that kind of stuff and how much money. Well, that's a big ticket item too. That's probably 5 or 10 grand to do that. And then have it, and then maybe one or two friends that will buy it, but that's not going to give you $10,000 to recover, what it costs to spend. So that's why that's a very dangerous thing to do without money. And if somebody gets a grant, then more power to you. But to me, there's another way to do that. So if you want to sell a book of photographs, I was talking to her that she likes taking photographs. That's right. Okay. That people could use. So why don't you just sell your service as a photographer, instead of taking photographs that you think people will like and sell it? See, and that it takes no money at all. And actually, you could do that, take pictures of things you like and sell them online because there's many, many websites now that sell photographs of photographers. You could put your photos on these websites and you get a share of the revenue of what they get by selling your photograph. So it's sort of like having your book in the bookstore, but you could just do it for one photograph, and that doesn't take any money. So you put it in the photograph store and see if people buy it. So that's traffic, and that's how you learn to do that without any money. None of these things cost any money at all to do that. So now you're in a business of selling your photographs that you've completed, or the other way is to sell your talent as a photographer. You like taking photographs? Well, that's a business. You sell your services as a photographer and get paid for it. And it's not hard to get business for that either. It's a lot easier than it ever was in the history of the United States because there's platforms. These are places where you put, hey, I'm a photographer, I do this, and then people look at the people who are photographers and who they like, and they hire them. Man, that's like having your book in the mall, where you get lots of traffic. So this way, you have it on your services are on these websites that get lots of traffic, and it costs you nothing except if you get a client, then you give a piece of the money to the mall or wherever you are, whoever gets the money. This is any service is like that. And that's why it's so easy to start a service business today because there's platforms. It's sort of like we rented out an apartment we never had, okay? Normally before the internet, we'd have to put up signs, we'd have to put up ads and all this kind of stuff. No, now we just put it on Airbnb. They get millions of people coming looking for apartments to, stay overnight or whatever. And we made a ton of dough. Sure, we had to give them, I think, 7, 10, 15% or whatever. But boy, we didn't have to worry about nothing. And the other thing you don't have to worry about is getting paid, because these platforms, you know, make sure you get paid, and they get the money ahead of time from the people. So if you want to have a service as a dog walker, you like pets, just say you're a dog walker, sign up to those websites that have dog walkers, because millions of people are coming every day looking for a dog walker in their area, and they'll see your cute little picture with loving dogs or whatever it is. Or if it's a photographer they need, you'll see, your nice photo of your photos and everything. Hey, that's the kind of stuff I want. You know, and so that's, to me, that's like having a store in a mall, and it costs you nothing. So you get your face, your talent, in these malls that are websites where people come to buy stuff. They come to buy yours, and it costs you nothing to do that. See, that's the key. And that's what's neat about how it's easy to start businesses in our country now, because of these platforms. There's anything. I mean, Thumbtack. I mean, I hired somebody to be a DJ on something called Thumbtack the other day, and so he made $200 from me. But I had a whole bunch of people. So you want to be a DJ? You could be a DJ tomorrow. See, and just say you're a DJ and put your information on Thumbtack. You know, and you could have no equipment, nothing. And when you get a gig, you go rent the equipment you have, and now you're a DJ. You don't have to have money as an excuse. You can't be in business. Anybody could do it. You just have to figure out the platforms. If you have trouble, putting anything on the internet, then there's a lot of free help to do that. If you go to 211 and find help, and look for nonprofit organizations that help you with computer problems. What I use a lot is Fiverr, Fiverr, and they'll set it up for less than $20, $30, anything on the internet, probably. It's cool. And so it costs nothing. So that's why, you don't have to have money stop you from starting a business, or that you can't find a grant so you can't start a business. That is a blasphemous in my mind. It doesn't have to be that way, because there's too many other ways to be in business, and that's because of the internet. And it's just a remarkable thing for entrepreneurs or self-sufficiency to work at home or whatever. Too many things. I was talking to somebody yesterday who I found him on Upwork, because I look for talent on Upwork. That's another thing like that. And she just started doing this, but she was a nice person, and I hired her. Yeah, she didn't have a shitload of resumes or any of that kind of thing. This is what it is. We're our own worst enemy in doing anything. We want to think the world is perfect. You wouldn't do this unless you were this, that, or the other thing. No, people don't buy perfect. They buy convenience. They buy a whole lot of other things. And when was the last perfect thing you find? No, people buy mediocre, because they can't afford perfect. It costs too expensive to be perfect. So don't try to be perfect. That's why you don't have to get, you want to start the perfect business and you want $25,000. Well, nobody's going to buy it anyway. So don't be perfect. Just figure out that audience, figure out those customers first before you start looking for the big money and spend the time, because you're probably going to get the money and spend it on the wrong thing anyway. So if you find what the trucking industry really is, how do you really get customers to do this? And that's a trial and error, by trying things and failing, but don't spend money to do it. See, that's why if you're selling your service as a photographer versus a book, you want to buy a book, and that's why I never, when I first started doing books, I was selling them from people in New York, and did very well. But when I do it myself, I couldn't afford to print 100,000 books and have them in the bookstore, and and then maybe get paid, maybe not. No, I'm a small business, couldn't do that. So I said, the one thing I'll do, I'll be a guest on shows, and that cut out having to expend that marketing money. And so, because being an author another way, I just said, well, I'll be a guest. Everybody wants somebody to entertain on their shows. There was a lot of talk shows at the time. And so I'll do that and have a book, but I won't have the book until somebody buys it. So they would call my 800 number. I get their credit card, and when I had enough, I'll buy it. Yeah, I'll make them, and send it before I spend all that money if I'm not going to sell it, because and I did that. I remember even before I was getting on the media, I would put an ad in the Wall Street Journal to see if anybody would buy a book called whatever that I decided I was going to do. And if I didn't get enough orders, I'd send out the money back and wouldn't print the book. Doing the book and everything, that's the hard part. That's the expensive part. Nobody wants to buy it, then why the hell did you do it? And that's why you have to go in reverse. You have to figure out the market first, what they'll buy, how they'll buy, and what that is if you have to spend a lot of money developing something. And there's ways to do that, like anything. I mean, you just have to be creative. Nobody teaches you that, because everybody you want to go that teaches you is going to show you how to do it if you have $1,000,000 or 100,000 or whatever, because they want to help you spend it. And there has to be another way. And most of the people I know that even did big businesses, they started with nothing, two sticks, and you're in big. You rub them together and make something. And that's what life is all about. It's not having everything perfect, having this. No, you don't need that. You need just to do something. And the faster you do something and do it, and not figure out how to spend money. No, you have to figure out how to get money. And that's how to get customers. So you take somebody else's product and you sell that. You want to sell camping gear or something like that. Well, don't develop the best camping gear. Sell the camping gear, somebody else's camping gear, and make a commission that way. So you learn what people buy in camping gear or whatever it is. That's the important thing you're going to know. Because if you're going to go and develop your own camping gear equipment, spend all that money, and then go out and try to find a customer, you probably got the wrong thing, tell you the truth. And you won't know until you do that, and you wasted time and money. If you have money to burn and everything, fine. But if you don't, not only are you wasting money, you're wasting time and time to learn it. So that's why you could start learning today and start getting customers tomorrow for almost any business, that's related to what you really want to do in life. So if you really want to be a stand-up comic, well, find a stand-up comic you like and get them business. So learn how to get business as a stand-up comic instead of you trying to, figuring out all the other stuff of getting booked and all that kind of stuff. No, you have somebody who's a name and find out. That's the way to learn business. And then you have an entree into the whole industry because you represent somebody. See, it's that, records or whatever, any kind of entertainment things you want to do. So there's always a way to do it. It's just going to be the way that somebody told you to do it. It's not going to be the way that somebody, wrote about it in a how-to book or whatever. No, but it'll be easier and it'll be more fun. The reason it'll be more fun because you'll be taking pictures tomorrow for customers. You don't have to wait till you do the book. And 6 months from now, maybe sell the books and be broke if you don't. And it'll probably take you another year to figure it out, So no, you say, okay, how could I start learning this in the morning and getting business in the morning? So you take a similar product for somebody else and sell that, like the truck driver, learn how to get customers. That's what you want to do. You want to sell a service, any kind of service that you think you could do. I mean, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have credentials. You like doing it. And in the beginning, you'd say, okay, if I screw up, you don't like me, don't pay me. That's cheaper than doing anything else. So you lose the business that you said it'd be $100 and they said it was shitty and you couldn't charge them, fine. But that was worth it. Because otherwise you'd go get an MBA for $50,000 and still not have a business, but be $50,000 in debt, and that's crazy, Go get something to sell. Anything you like doing. You want to know how to cook. Teach people how to cook. You want to know how to dance. Teach people how to. You can do anything on the internet now. Find platforms. that do. You're a photographer, then go Google, sell my photography. yeah, you know, websites for photographers to sell their services. You know, websites for uh, cooking. I mean, you could cook. You have dinners at home, and there's platforms where people could come to your house for dinner and pay. Absolutely. People I know have done it. There's a lot of platforms that do that. I've interviewed people that do that. And there's websites that do that. Because when people travel around, they want to, not go to a four-star French restaurant. They want to eat with somebody in that town. Take somebody to a baseball game. You like baseball games? Well, now that we're going outside more, I mean, that's a great business. Airbnb has something that they sell to people who use Airbnb, adventures. So you live in a town that has a baseball thing, you take them to the local baseball game. They pay you a couple $100 to do that. Or go bar hopping. You like drinking at night? Well, get paid to do that. Because people new in town want to join 4 or 5 other people, go bar hopping. So that's your business. It costs you nothing, absolutely nothing. And you could be in business tomorrow. Yeah. And with these platforms that are generating customers, that's what it's all about. Sure, it's not going to be magic again. In 2 days you may not have anything, but you'll start learning how to do that. Not learning how to get some money for something you're not sure how you could sell yet. You know, that to me is nuts anymore. I did that the first 2 businesses and they failed. That's why I'm a firm believer in anything else. Or if it really is a product, you can crowdfund the product and get money for it to uh, to make it, and that's great because then you've done the advertising first, because that's what really crowdfunding is finding people who'll be your customers later because you don't have it yet. Well, that's the success of your business. So if you can't do that now, you're not going to do it if somebody gave you a big bunch of money and make the product and then go find the customers. No. See, with crowdfunding, you can find the customers first and then do the product. And because otherwise, you do the other way around, that means you don't know how to get customers. And if you get the money, then you're going to probably fail after you spend all the time getting the money. So that's why it is smarter in my mind to get the customers first, then do the product. And that's what's so exciting, to me about our age and what the internet did for everybody. I mean, like, to start a store, you had to get a couple $100,000 to have a store. Now you need $5. Okay. Or not even that. You put something on Amazon, it costs you nothing, right? And you sell somebody else's stuff, right? It's just crazy. Yeah. But that's what we're doing. And that's what it is. You have to realize what the landscape is. You have to go out and think of alternatives. You have to get out there and be a scout. Not try to take your dream and force it down the public. No, you got to find out what the public will buy. And that's the important thing. Or find the public that will buy what you want to do. And that's the hard part. The easy part is doing the product, tell you the truth. And anybody can spend money and do a product. But can you get it to the right people? Can you find them? Now, that's what you have to do. So that's why you take similar products and somebody else's similar products and test that out, and you make a commission. So you don't have to make the product or anything. So you got a fancy toothbrush, find somebody else with an interesting toothbrush and try to sell that in the market and see how that sells and where it is. And then you can sell your new gadget the same way. And now hey, yes, I know for sure. Instead of guessing, everybody's going to love this. Yeah, everybody loves Raymond. Actually, I saw that guy do stand-up last night. Again, not live, but somewhere. Probably HBO or something. Yeah, he's still trying to do stand-up. And he's an interesting guy. Nice guy. So that's the story today, folks. A little chilly. My butt's on the ground. Now, at my age, getting down was easy. It's getting up. That's a little different. So don't forget, to apply for our grant by March 4th is the deadline. Not March, April 4th is the deadline. We're giving out $30,000 again. So write tell us what you would do with $1,000. So join Let's Go Help. And when you join there, or if you're already a member, go to the tab on front that says, what does it say? Guides, Guides. There's a link there that takes you to Let's Go Help 2, because I'd like you to sign up for the grant there. It's easier for us to organize all the applications, okay? So sign up on Let's Go Help, and then go to Let's Go Help 2 by going to the guides up on top. And when you look at guides, you'll see there's a link to go direct to the back door on Let's Go Help 2. And if you're not a member, you could apply to Let's Go Help 2 directly by going to letsgohelp2.co. Letsgohelp2.co, not C-O-M, C-O. And you could sign up there. And if you sign up there, you also belong to the Facebook one. And if you sign up on the Facebook, you also belong to Facebook Help too. So one charge, two websites. Okay. So don't pay twice. Don't be a stupid old man like me. I do a lot of stupid old man tricks. I remember Letterman. I used to do him a lot. He had some stupid dog tricks, something like that. And that's when I make mistakes, I just call it a stupid old man trick. I'm getting good at those stupid old man tricks. Talk to you later.